Court is in session in cause number 328-076. The case is style of State of Texas versus Gilbert Wayne Valdez Jr. Mr. Valdez, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Valdez, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Valdez, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Mr. Valdez, you may put your hand down.
All right.
How are you doing, Mr. Valdez?
Simply marvelous. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing great. Mr. Valdez, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Tom Burbank. Mr. Burbank, how are you doing?
I'm living the dream, Your Honor. Very good.
That's great. Now, Mr. Valdez, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about September 18 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal mischief. Mr. Valdez, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Valdez, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, you're pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Both.
Okay. Mr. Valdez, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there are 2 sets of initials. One set of initials is TB, and that's for your attorney, Tom Burbank, and there are another set of initials, GV. On the line next to a box says check no contingent, which means no contest. Mr. Valdez, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I did.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. Valdez, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Valdez, did you sign this document?
I signed that document. Yes, sir. I messed up on the E.
Okay. Now, Mr. Valdez, on the next page, well, on the next document, rather, this document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Valdez, did you sign the bottom of this document above the line that is titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Valdez, there are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the next box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir, I do. But for future reference, I can't get that knocked off my record somehow.
Well, Mr. Valdez,
You know what I mean?
if you need to talk to your attorney, I can't give you any legal advice. Your attorney, before we go any further, I can allow you time to talk to your attorney off the record. And you want to talk to your attorney?
That's okay. No, not passed.
Okay. Now, Mr. Valdez, again, the second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Valdez, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Valdez, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Burbank, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Burbank went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Valdez, well, State.
Yes, Your Honor.
I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr.?
No objections to states 1 and 2, Your Honor.
Okay. No objections, State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Burbank, you advised and counseled Mr. Valdez. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally competent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Valdez, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Valdez, your attorney, Mr. Burbank has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Actually, what?
Mr. Burbank has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with Mr. Burbank's representation?
110%, yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir. It's been real good.
Okay, Mr. Valdez, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I'll also find that your pleas and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do we have a affidavit?
No, exactly. Okay.
Mr. Hand, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail.
Okay, I see. They got 15 days, 30 days credit for 15. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Valdez,
Yes, sir.
the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit of 15 days toward this sentence. Mr. Valdez, do you understand? And also, Mr. Valdez, the court cost in this case is $387. Mr. Valdez, will you be able to pay the $387 before you're released from jail?
No, sir. I won't be able to do that.
Okay,
Sir.
Mr. Valdez, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. This document has your name on it. This document was signed on January the 29th of 2022 and by Judge Rod Posh. And Judge Rod Posh, based on the information that you provided in this document, found that you were indigent. And the information in this document, is it still current?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this court is gonna make that same finding. Based on the finding of indigency, Mr. Valdez, the court is going to waive the $387 court costs pursuant to Article 42.15 of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. And what that basically means, Mr. Valdez, is that you will not be required to pay the court costs of $387.
Thank you.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Okay, now, Mr. Valdez, do you understand the state's offer and the court's waiver of the court costs in this case?
Yes, sir. I do. At time served, right?
Well, it's 30 days credit for 15 days.
Okay.
Okay, and the court cost of $387 will be waived. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I understand both.
Okay, now, do you think that the offer and the waiver in your case is fair and just?
Fair and just. Yes, sir.
And do you accept it?
I accept.
Okay, Mr. Valdez, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement with the waiver that the court has made in this case pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure based on the finding that you're indigent. So, Mr. Valdez, this will conclude your case. You can knock on the door, follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day.